Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Sensible women can get good men. You know what? I wanted to share that because, you know what? I'm going to tell you the one thing I've observed in life, right? The women who can get men, good men, are always very sensible. What would I call a sensible woman? A woman, even though women in general are more emotional, and they're supposed to be more emotional. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's that emotion that allow a woman to have like 3 very different kids and love them all equally. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's, you know, you can't, because, you know, if women were too logical, and some men want women to be too logical, but women aren't supposed to be, you know. Some men wouldn't get any attention at all. People talk about 80-20. If women start getting logical, it'd be 95-5. Real talk. Real fucking talk if they start getting logical. Because logically, they would only go for the top men who are making the most money. So, seriously, if you go to start putting logic into it, they wouldn't struggle at all. Logically, you know, do what they can to get the top man. That just settle. If women were on logic, emotion, a lot of dudes are only getting a woman because, you know, something about him tugs at her heart, right? That being said, sensible women tend to exercise a bit more a bit more logic than the average ones. It's like they thinking long term, they thinking sensibly, right? I'm gonna tell you what, they can get good men because one of the things is if they're sensible, they know how to. They don't do anything to antagonize men, right? They can get along with men. They can see a man's point of view. You know, they can even get many of them, and they do this without being doormats. Because a lot of sensible women, they can see a man's point of view, but you know, if a man do some fucked up shit, they call him out, and that's cool. But for the most part, they, you know, usually if they calling out a man or getting in on him, that's because he usually did something fucked up. But a sensible woman is like, you know, she gonna think about shit. She ain't gonna, you know, she's gonna think. All right, she ain't gonna just like. I give you a great example, right? Because you get a lot of women who will leave a good man just because of some spark, or the spark might have died out, right? And they ready to go, so they go for that first guy that tell them what they want to hear and then get burned. That's not a sensible woman. A sensible woman, if she even notice the spark is dying out, she gonna do something. She's gonna address it. In fact, they might even get a little bit further. Like I knew this one sister, right? And Rama be having her up in a thing with them, except for the fact she married. But she very sensible, right? I remember what she said because her stepson was about to get married, right, to this woman. And one, she was sensible anyway. She would not make any moves just based on pure emotion. That's one thing. She got emotional, right? And she carried about 3 or 4 knives on her, so it wouldn't be a good thing if she got emotional. Because I even asked her one time, I said, "You got all this tight shit. Where the fuck you carrying a knife at?" All right, but you know, she was still cool. She was sensible, but it was like, in fact, sensible to the point she got zero social media presence because so many dudes be trying to get at her. Seriously, that's how she was. Like I said, she married, and I even just looked. I said, nah, me and you alone, too alone any place. There's gonna be some issues. Because that's one thing, you can be honest. Yeah, like you can be very honest with a sensible woman, right? Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all following me, right? But anyway, this particular woman, she said she was going to take her stepson's fiance to a strip club, right? A female strip club. And her logic was, look, she need to know how to keep her man. That's a sensible woman. It's deeper than just sex. They know how to interact with a man. They know how to let a man be a man. They ain't trying to boss him or anything. They just let him do what he going to do. and they chill. That's why you can't help but love them. Now, here's the thing. The sensible woman, she got a certain draw because she knows also know how to give a man peace. You know? And here's the most interesting thing I found with sensible women. The most interesting thing I've found with sensible women is they could probably never get a real big following on Instagram or something like that unless they just dropping knowledge. Usually, if a sensible woman, usually she's going to dress modestly. You might notice a body. You know, she the type. She ain't gonna wear some some short skirt walking down the street then complain about men like whistling at her or something or harassing her. She gonna dress sensibly. She ain't gonna have those 4-inch heels. She gonna have those, dare I say it, sensible heels. Right? But like I said, she wouldn't get a follow on Instagram unless her Instagram posts were dropping knowledge. You know? One thing too, see, a sensible woman, like I said, with a little bit more knowledge too, they know how to make love to a man's mind. Because especially an intellectual man, because they're gonna talk and they just gonna make sense in such a way. The man gonna be like, damn girl, you got somebody? Like I said, they ain't gonna be like I said, they might not look like an Instagram model, but at the same time, they ain't gonna be ugly either. Because since they're sensible, they're gonna have a more peaceful nature. When you find, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Except for some women that just had some really unfortunate genetics. I mean, like just really unfortunate genetics. Like, wow. Most women ain't really ugly. Seriously, most women. But the thing that can make a woman ugly is not taking care of her body and having a bad attitude. The combination of the two that, or just is not attractive. But you take the sensible woman, even if like by society standards, she just like her bone structure is just average. Men are going to find a beauty in her. They're going to be drawn to her, and they're going to want to be with it. And that's because of that nature, and also just having a bit more sense, they're able to make love to a man's mind. Now, some of the women who get the women I've met in my life who got a ton of men were never the IG model type. Like just a real time. They were that sensible woman. And they knew how to speak man. But knew how to speak man without compromising their femininity. That's the beauty of it. It's like a great balance. It's like, yeah, they can be very attractive, even have a killer body, but the clothes they wear is still going to enhance their femininity. They ain't going to dress like dudes or anything, but it's going to be classy. Right? And they're going to know because a man, and plus too, in dressing in such a way, a classy manner, they are going to what's that word? They're going to force the man to have to deal with them in a certain way. See, a lot of women get in trouble because they dress like thoughts. And so if a man see that, that's how he going to deal with them. Let's just be real. If I see a woman and she got some tight ass shit, even somebody like me, I'll be hard pressed to be thinking about her intellectually. I can force myself to do it, but shoot, the dick is going to be like, bump that. But you get that woman and, first she forces it and then she gets a better dude. And I've never seen this to fail. In fact, there was a celebrity. He was on one of those reality shows. Right? There was a celebrity. In fact, yeah, you know what I'm going to call it because I ain't saying anything negative about the sister, right? If anybody remember that brother, Randall Pickett, he was on The Apprentice, right? Brother won it. I mean, this dude was just sharp. It was like Superman. Even Trump was like, I ain't never met the type of leader you are. I mean, that dude was on some other level stuff. And I remember they had a show where it showed he was interacting with his wife, and I was like, damn, I know her. Because I had actually, I met her through some weird way. I can't remember her name now because this was years ago. Right, like right now as I'm doing this podcast. But I remember when I met her, she was a very sensible woman, but it was just like timing and stuff, right? because we had talked a bit, but you know, ain't nothing come from it, and it's cool. It was cool, but I remember how she carried herself and everything, and so when I saw she was with this outstanding dude, right, I was just like, wow, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all. All right, because that's how it goes. When you get women who carry themselves a certain way with a certain class, they gonna get the good men. They ain't gonna be complaining. They gonna have like outstanding men, and I don't mean Pookie and Ray, like outstanding, either educated, self-educated men who at the very least are gainfully employed, know they supposed to handle their business. They gonna have those type of men lined up, right? But the key thing is the mental thing, being sensible, you know, striking a balance in how you present yourself, you know, being realistic how you dealing with men, right? So anyway, wanted to share that. Ladies, if you focus on that, just ask yourself, all right, am I being an emotional little girl or a grown woman? Because that's another term for a sensible woman, a grown-ass woman. If you're a grown woman, I'm going to tell you what. I've yet to meet a truly grown woman. Because I don't count a lot of women out here who grown and act silly, want to argue and want some dumb shit or some fantasy shit. I've yet to meet one that didn't really have guys that had some interest. And usually, only exception to that is usually when, for whatever reason, that grown woman is in a place where she can't meet those type of guys. But usually if she do encounter that type of guy, like the really good ones, really sensible type of men, really quality type of men, the men are interested. So anyway, right? That's it for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.